Hello, everyone. My name is Kylie Jonas. I'm going to be going through your employee benefits enrollment guide for Blackrock Construction. As we move through the guide, there's chances that you're going to have questions, perhaps. If you do, then I'll show you where the contact information is located for you to reach out to us. All right, so we're going to move through here. Just some quick information on general information. This is going to be your open enrollment period right now. However, if anything occurs in your life over the next 12 months before your next open enrollment period where you either get married, divorced, have the birth of a child, etc., and you need to make some changes to your benefits or who's on those benefits, this How to Make Changes section right here is going to talk about that. So you'll see down here it says within 30 days. Basically, within 30 days of whatever the event date is of your qualifying event. So if you get married within 30 days of the date of your marriage, you would need to notify us of the change that needs to be made so that we can go ahead and take care of that for you. All right, moving on this contact information page, I will just point out right down here, my account manager is Jamie Moore. Her direct line and her email are listed right here. Should you have any detailed questions you need to ask about your benefits throughout the year, you are welcome to contact her directly and she'll go ahead and get you taken care of. All right, you'll also see up here for your medical dental, it's actually going to be Aetna, and then principal and life is going to be principal. So these are the two carriers that you guys are going to be using. You have been with Aetna in the past if you currently are enrolled in benefits, so you're not changing carriers. So again, should you need anything, let's say you need an additional ID card or you lose yours or something like that, you can go to the website here and you'll find instructions on how to order that ID card. All right, so we're going to get straight into the medical insurance. We did make some changes to the medical this year within Aetna due to some canceled plans. So this first plan, this base plan that your employer is offering you is actually going to be a copay plan. It is a deductible of $6,750 and an out-of-pocket max of $7,350 on this base plan. If you need to go in and just see your primary care physician or your doctor, it's going to be a $35 copay. If you need to see a specialist, so let's say a cardiologist or a podiatrist, which is a foot doctor, or a dermatologist, anything that's a specialty visit is going to be a $70 copay on this plan. It's very important that you understand that copays do not go towards the deductible. They only go towards the out-of-pocket max. So the only time you're going to have anything applied towards this deductible right here is if you end up in the emergency room and they need to do some additional services for you, or if you have some lab or x-rays or any imaging done. That is going to go towards the deductible first, and then the carrier may start to kick in funds. So just be aware of that. It is very, very important that you stay in network. Aetna has a very large network, and this is open access, so just be aware that you do need to stay in network in order to have these benefits apply. You can go to their website to find in-network doctors in your area, since I know you all are kind of moved from site to site, depending on where you happen to be at with your crew. With that said, this is an EPO plan, so what that means is you can go see any doctor you want as long as they're in network. If you try to go out of network, you don't have any benefits. So again, I stress, you're going to have to look and make sure that the doctor you go see, or the lab or tech, or if you have imaging done, the imaging center, the pharmacy, you need to make sure that it's in network. So on prescriptions, speaking of pharmacy, you do have copays as well. Your tier 1 or generic prescriptions are $10, tier 2 are $45, tier 3 are $70. If you get up into tier 4 or the specialty medications, you're going to be between $250 to $500. So these are your injectable medications. There's probably not too many of you that have to worry about something like this. Most of you are going to be down in this range right here. We always recommend that you ask your doctor if there is a generic version of the prescription that you can take. That's always going to save you money out of pocket if you can get a generic versus a brand name prescription. If you forget to ask at your doctor's office, you can go ahead and ask the pharmacy when you go to fill the prescription, and they can speak to your doctor on your behalf. You'll see here, if you need to go to the emergency room, it is a $500 copay after deductible. So understand that if you end up in the emergency room, you are going to pay everything out of pocket until you hit that $6,750. So if it is not a life or limb-threatening situation, so if you're not dying and you're not going to lose an arm because of the injury, we always recommend that you go to the urgent care instead. And urgent care can cast a broken bone. They can put stitches in you if they need to. So again, if you're not dying and you're not going to lose a limb, then we always recommend going to the closest urgent care instead of the emergency room. And this is why. The urgent care is going to cost you $100. The emergency room is going to cost you at least $1,000 to $2,000, depending on what's going on. Now, if you're having chest pains or if you are in a situation where you could die, then go to the emergency room, because that makes sense. Otherwise, like I said, urgent care can take care of everything. You should see that it says no coverage for non-urgent use. That means that if it's just a sinus infection, you don't go to the urgent care for that. You need to go see a regular doctor, a primary care physician, for that $35 copay up top. Or you can do what's called telemedicine, which is where you call in on your phone. You FaceTime on your phone. There will be information that will be sent out to y'all on how to set that up. And again, that's going to be just your normal office visit copay, so it'll cost you a lot less than trying to walk into an urgent care. And when you do the FaceTime doctor, they will actually call in your prescription for you to the closest pharmacy. All right. If you do end up in the hospital, the facility copay is $500. That is after deductible. So again, if you end up in the hospital, you can pretty much guarantee that you're going to hit that $6,750. So it's deductible first, and then the carrier will start kicking in money after that. Again, you'll see down here it says out-of-network coverage. There is no coverage. So make sure you stay in network. Now, your employer is generously contributing 50% of the base level option for the employee-only coverage. So you'll see they're kicking in 50% of the cost. So your employee-only portion for this plan is going to be $39.64 per pay period, okay? If you want to cover a spouse or children or family, you'll see the cost per pay period over here on what would be deducted from your check. All right, moving on. The second plan option that's going to be available to you functions very similarly to the first one, except this one has a deductible of $4,500, so almost $2,000 less on the deductible and almost $1,000 less on this out-of-pocket max of $6,850 on this plan. Your copays are still $35 and $70 for your primary care and your specialist, okay? And you'll see the copays on the drug tiers and everything else are still the same on this plan. So again, this one is going to have a lower deductible. If you feel like there's something that's going on this year where you are going to have funds going towards that deductible that you're going to need to pay, this might be a good plan to have a lower deductible. This is also an EPO plan, so again, you do not have any coverage if you go out of network, okay? So stay in network. The cost for this option, again, they are applying that contribution from the base level. So 50% of the cost of the base level option is being applied towards this plan on your behalf by your employer. So this one would be $62.08 on the employee-only per pay period deduction. And again, your other tiers are going to be followed and listed right here. If we move on to option 3, this will be the last option. This one is an open access or a POS plan. So this does have out-of-network coverage, but not very good out-of-network coverage. So you are going to have to meet an out-of-network deductible first, which is about $3,000 before this would kick in any kind of coverage at all. And after that, it's still only 60% that the carrier is kicking in. So just be aware, it's always in your best interest to stay in network. That is the only way these copays and all that apply. This particular plan is a $1,500 deductible, or $1,500 for the individual. Your out-of-pocket max on this one is considerably less at $4,000. Your copays are $25 and $50, so a little bit less than the other two plans. And then right here, you'll see the in-office lab and x-ray is 20% coinsurance after deductible. So again, you're going to pay that $1,500 first or towards it. If you hit that, then you only owe 20% of whatever the charges are for this. The carrier is going to kick in the other 80%. Your prescription levels are 10, 35, 60, and then again 250 up to 500 for those specialty meds on this one. Emergency room copay is $200, and then $75 copay on the urgent care on this particular plan. So this one is, again, we're applying what your employer is contributing, and then your out-of-pocket is going to be $96.37 on this plan per pay period deduction. And again, employee, spouse, child, or family costs are listed over here. All right, moving on to the dental. You do still have the same dental options as last year. There hasn't been a major change in cost either. So you'll see this bottom one is called a DMO plan. So there's no deductible here. They will do your cleanings and sets of x-rays at 100% covered by the carrier. So that's the same on both plans. So go in and get your teeth cleaned. Okay, it's very important. Do those cleanings that are free to you twice a year for being on this plan, and that is per person on the plan. Okay. If you need to have a filling done, the carrier is going to cover any basic services at 100%. If you need major services done, then you need to understand that you're going to have a 40% co-insurance is what you're going to owe. Okay, the carrier is going to kick in 60%. You're going to owe 40% of whatever those charges are. So just be aware that you are going to have some out-of-pocket costs if you have anything major that needs to be done. When you go in for your office visit, it's just going to be a $10 copay. So anytime you go into the dentist, you just need to know you're going to owe that $10 plus perhaps a percentage if you're having something major done. Child orthodontics and adult orthodontics on this, there's a $2,300 copay, and then after that, the carrier will start kicking in. All right, on this plan over here, the PPO plan, okay, if you need to have something basic done, like a filling, you're going to pay a $50 copay one time. This is a deductible, I'm sorry. And then after that, the carrier is going to kick in 80% of the remaining charges, okay? If you need to have something major done, again, you would pay that $50 deductible, and then the carrier kicks in 50% of any additional charges, up to $1,000 per year. So the carrier will contribute up to $1,000 per year towards your dental care, okay? You'll see there is orthodontics up to $1,000 lifetime max. So they will kick in 50% of all charges until they hit that $1,000 out of the carrier's pocket, and then they're not going to contribute anything additional. All right, the cost for the dental plan is going to be $5.79 per pay period for the employee only. And then again, you'll see if you want to cover dependents, the cost is listed here per pay period. All right, Principal is going to be doing your vision insurance this year. They actually use the VSP network, which is the largest national network out there, so you shouldn't have any issue finding an in-network vision provider. If you want to go in and have your eye exam done, it's going to be a $10 copay. If you are purchasing glasses, your lenses are going to be a $25 copay. That does include progressive lenses, so that's a nice little feature. Frames, you will have a $150 allowance plus an additional 20% off the balance. So if you want to go in and get a pair of glasses, then just know you have $150 that the carrier will give you towards those frames. If your frames cost $200, then the carrier will you'll get an additional 20% off that remaining $50 above, and then you'll owe the difference. So just be aware. All right. If you want to do contacts in lieu of glasses, you're going to pay a $60 copay for the evaluation and fitting for the lenses, and then they will give you a $150 allowance towards those lenses as well. So the first couple of boxes will be free. You can do an exam once every 12 months on this. You can get a pair, or you can get lenses, so either glasses or contact lenses once every 12 months. And then frames are once every 24 months. Just remember, on a vision plan, it's based on date of service, okay? So if you wait until January or February to get your eye exam done, then you will not have benefits again on that plan until the following February or whenever you got your appointment taken care of. The cost for this plan is $1.27 per pay period for the employee only. And then again, if you're covering dependents, it's listed out to the side here. All right, your employer is generously paying for a basic life policy on every single one of you, regardless of whether you have the medical insurance or not. So if you are an employee of Blackrock Construction, then you do have a $15,000 life insurance policy available to you that the employer is paying for. Should something happen to you, make sure you've listed a beneficiary that is going to receive that $15,000. okay? A couple other things that are available on this: an accelerated death benefit. So if you get diagnosed with a terminal illness, God forbid, then you could draw on some of this early to help pay for medical bills or perhaps to provide some income to family members until you were to pass away. There is a conversion option as well, so if you ever had to leave the company for any reason, you can ask for the conversion paperwork to take this $15,000 policy with you. You would then start paying the premium to have the policy. This policy is of no cost to you, so again, your employer is paying for this on your behalf. All right. There is also voluntary life and AD&D being offered this year to you. What that means is that if you would like to choose a term life policy up to $100,000, you may. You can start anywhere between $10,000 up to $100,000 for the employee, or between $5,000 up to $25,000 on a spouse. And then children, you can purchase a $10,000 policy on a child if you would like. So understand what that means is you can elect up to $100,000 worth of coverage without evidence of insurability. That is your guarantee issue amount. So they're not going to ask you any health questions. They're not going to make you do blood work or anything. If you want to elect up to $100,000, you have the option on that guarantee issue. You can actually elect all the way up to $300,000. But if you go above the $100,000, then they are going to ask you to go ahead and fill out that health questionnaire and do some blood work and a physical exam with a doctor to prove that you are a healthy individual, okay? So again, employees can elect up to $300,000. On a spouse, you can elect up to $100,000. And then on the children, again, up to $10,000, okay? So there is an AD&D rider on this policy. What that means is it stands for accidental death and dismemberment. Should you get in a car accident and die, your spouse would have whatever you had elected on your life insurance policy, your beneficiary. So whoever you sent as your beneficiary would have the ability to not only receive, let's say you purchased a $100,000 life insurance policy through this program. So they would get $100,000 on the life insurance, and then if it was an accidental death, they would get an additional $100,000 under that AD&D rider, okay? That is already included in the rate. The thing under the AD&D rider that's important, though, is the dismemberment part. So if for some reason you were to get in an accident, but you didn't die, but you became disabled, you lost a limb or you lost your eyesight or something along those lines that didn't allow you to work, you would actually be able to draw on a portion of that AD&D. So again, whatever you elect as your policy, let's say it was $100,000, you would be able to draw on like 60% of that under the AD&D rider, even though you didn't die, okay? That's going to help you pay for some medical bills, perhaps, or again, to have some income coming in until you could get back on your feet and back to work. All right, you'll see on the next page, these are the rates for the policy. So is it per $1,000 of volume, it's age-banded. You're going to find what age category you fall into here, and that's going to give you your rate for you and for the spouse, okay? Children are a flat rate. It's 20 cents per $1,000 of coverage, okay? Down here, you'll see it shows you how to calculate. So the example, if you wanted a $100,000 policy and you were 33 years old, you're going to take that $100,000 divided by $1,000 at a time, times your rate within your age band, okay? And it gives you the monthly cost right here. I highly encourage you to take a look at this because these are much cheaper rates than what you're going to get if you try to go out and buy a life insurance policy of your own, okay? And this life insurance policy is going to protect your beneficiaries, whether that's your spouse or your children or both. It's going to protect them in case something were to happen to you, okay? All right. So last but not least, there are frequently asked questions and answers listed here. And then on the last page, you will see helpful terminology and information, which just gives you some definitions. What is a deductible? What is a copay, et cetera. Last but not least, there are instructions on how to enroll. So it gives you step-by-step instructions as well as screenshots. You should have a foreman at your construction site that can help you complete this enrollment. Or you are welcome to call our office if you have any questions, okay? If you have a spouse that usually makes these decisions for you and you want to send this information to them, they can go ahead and use your email and go in and create your enrollment. Okay? So you will receive instructions from Ray on how you're going to complete your enrollment. Okay? Once you get the go-ahead from Ray that enrollment is open, which should be on Monday, and then you'll have the ability to go in and make your elections. If you are already enrolled in benefits and you would like to just have the election change to whatever the closest plan is that you're currently on, we can do that. You just need to let Ray know. Okay? All right, so if you guys have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Again, Jamie Moore's contact information was listed on one of those first pages. I believe it was page 5, down at the bottom. Make sure if you do go into the system to either enroll or waive the insurance, you have not done either one of those things until you sign off. So if you don't get prompted to sign anything, then you have not completed the elections or the waiver, and we cannot process anything until you do so. Okay? Your open enrollment window is going to be starting on Monday and then actually going through October 31st. So please make sure you go in and complete that enrollment so we can submit everything on time, and that way come December 1st, your new benefits are available and ready to go. All right, we appreciate your time, and again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you so much. Bye.